Hey everyone, Joe here with the Idaho Prepper channel. Good to be back with you guys here today. So sorry I don't have my microphone with me. It's just, I don't know where I put it somewhere, but eventually I'll find it. So hopefully I'll just speak really loudly and you guys will be able to hear me okay. But as you can see, I'm out here in my shop. I got some projects going on. I've been running errands all day. I'm actually in the process of making a video. It's going to be a camp out video. It's really cool. So I'm halfway through that video. But I'm in my shop and I'm kind of going through a list of some things that I feel like I need to get prepared for. Now, I tell you, I've been making videos that are kind of like this, that are in this like genre of what you might call like fear mongering. And, I get a lot of nasty comments when I put videos out like this that I'm just fear mongering. That's all I'm doing. Like as if I genuinely don't believe that anything bad can happen. And this is just all a big ruse to try to get views. But the fact of the matter is, like, I'm a real prepper. And I'm not prepping, for birthday parties. I'm not prepping for a good time. You don't see me, stockpiling balloons and party favors. I'm stockpiling food, water, and ammo because I'm anticipating something bad, specifically something bad financially. But there are a lot of reasons to be prepared right now and a lot of reasons to be concerned. Now, you don't have to be afraid if you're prepared. If you get prepared, then you don't have to be scared, as they say. But for those of you who feel like this is fear mongering, you want to kind of keep going on in your life and feel like everything's okay, this channel is probably not for you, and move on. But what I want to talk to you guys today about is something that I've kind of been theorizing. Now, I don't really follow the news, the mainstream news anymore. I used to follow it religiously. I consumed it all day, every day. And eventually I reached the conclusion that really there was no solution. I mean, you want to talk about fear mongering, watch the television set. It's nothing but fear mongering, and they never seem to apply any type of solution. It just goes round and round. And eventually you watch it long enough and you realize that it's all complete BS anyways. So the only reason I think you should even watch any type of news coming from the television set if you just want to be entertained or you're trying to figure out the grift that they're using. But other than that, I wouldn't consume or really take seriously much of what's coming out of your television set. Now, with that said, I do keep tabs on things. There are like two different platforms that I frequent, and pretty much just like two what you might call like influencers. I don't know, like social media people that I listen to. I can't really tell you who those people are because it would probably get me banned from this platform. So that's just going to have to be a mystery. But they are people that I've been listening to for a long time. They are very well vetted, and they haven't steered me wrong in the last 7 years since I've been listening to them. So what they say, I put a lot of faith in, and I trust what they say. And one of the things that I'm more concerned with, or most concerned with now, it's still financial, but it's really these conflicts that are about to erupt around the world. I mean, we are just on the precipice of a really nasty situation in the Middle East. And without going too much into it, because in all honesty, this just isn't my wheelhouse. It's probably one of the reasons why I don't get into it. It's just not really my area of expertise. But my feeling is that what we're probably going to see, like in the next 5 to 6 months, is some type of false flag. Now, when I say the word false flag, I think a lot of people just assume like, oh, something's going to happen and it's not going to be real. False flags are real. I mean, the attacks that happen even in false flag events, I mean, they're very much real. So whether this event that's about to happen comes legitimately or it is a false flag, it's basically something that our government or governments that are working in conjunction with ours put together in order to justify going back into the Middle East for another 20 years. I think we're going to see something like that, and I think it is going to dwarf 9/11. That's really my fear, because, and the reason I think that is because I feel like, especially in the last 10 years, and even more so in the last 5, our government and the media have really lost the faith of the American people and people, globally. Just people are not buying it anymore. And the powers that be know that, and they are desperate to try to regain the attention of all of us. And I think what they are going to do is concoct some type of major disaster that will basically get everybody together to justify another awful, terrible invasion in the Middle East. That's just my thinking. They did it on 9/11. I feel like it's going to happen. It's going to happen again. And like I said, it's going to dwarf 9/11 because it has to. They're going to need something bigger, to get people on board. And my feeling is that it's going to be something like an EMP. The other reason why I think that is because I think an EMP will benefit them in a way so that, we'll be shut out of everything that's going on. We're not going to be able to have access to the television sets or our phones because they'll all be down. And they'll not only be able to, harness that fear and get everybody in a state of panic and desperate to just do whatever they want us to do, they'll also be able to kind of keep us in the dark, literally. So I know that sounds, I'm completely aware of the gravity of what I just said, but it's just a feeling that I have. I don't know if it's going to be an EMP. That's just, obviously, that's kind of just a theory, but I definitely believe there is going to be some type of event that's going to happen probably before fall that is going to justify us getting back into basically another Persian Gulf War is what we're going to see. So not really excited to be telling you this stuff, you guys. It doesn't bring me any pleasure talking about this stuff. I'm a married man. I got 3 kids. And I'll admit, before I was married, before I had kids, and I was prepping was exciting. There was definitely an excitement about it. But once I got married and had kids, it was no longer exciting. It's depressing. I would really rather not be doing this stuff. But I genuinely feel that this is something that we should all be taking seriously, and it's something that we need to do. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of share with you guys my list. It's just some basic stuff. I know it's kind of sounding redundant, but I just thought I'd go ahead and make this video, kind of share with you guys some of the things I'm doing. So I'm out here in my shop. One of the things I'm working on actually up in this loft is I'm building shelves because I want to get better organized. So, if things go askew, you're going to want to be organized. The more organized you are, it just kind of takes the panic out of the situation, and you're just going to be able to navigate through whatever disaster is occurring a lot easier. The other thing that I'm doing when it comes to organizing is I'm kind of minimalizing. So I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff. I'm actually restoring a lot of things. I'm restoring my boat and our pop-up camper. So I got them all painted, cleaned up, and I'm actually going to be selling them. And I'm either going to put the money aside. I'm not sure what I'm going to put it in, but I'm either going to put the money aside and save it just as to have some more backup spending money, or I'm going to probably buy something a little bit nicer with our camper, because I do like having a camper just for an evacuation standpoint. If my family and I had to bug out, we would most likely be bugging out in our camper, especially if we knew it was going to be a bug out situation when we were going to be gone for a long time. So I'll probably end up selling my boat and my camper and then just buying a little bit better of a camper. The other thing that I'm always working on, and that I, definitely stress that you guys work on too, especially when it comes to preparing for any type of long-term survival plan, is building a community. So one of the things that I actually just did is I've been programming radios like the Baofeng GMR or the UV5R radios, and handing them out to some of my neighbors who, I'm friends with. So I learned how to program the UV5R radios. It wasn't that difficult, although it definitely took, a couple hours of my day watching YouTube videos and playing around with it to get it right. But I have learned how to program those radios, and they are just a great asset to have, especially in any type of emergency plan. You can listen to all of the different emergency frequencies, the NOAA weather frequency. So they just make good scanners. So unless you have your ham radio license, you can't transmit on them, but they're definitely good just for listening. The other thing that I handed out are these Baofeng GMRS radios. So these are just so cheap. I just figured, you can buy 2 of these for $40. Sometimes you get them even cheaper than that when they're on sale, and I'll hand them out because I already have 4. And so I gave my neighbor up the street one, and then one of my neighbors down the street one. So they both have programmed Baofeng UV5R radios and GMRS radios, and they all know what frequency that we're going to be transmitting on. So that's one of the things that I've been doing. The other thing that I've been working on is actually totally unrelated to prepping. I've actually just been trying to build my painting business. I've actually been doing that more than anything. And this is kind of one of the things that got me thinking about this video. Is it's just really slow right now. I'm actually really slow, and the paint store that I went to, that I frequent, the one paint store that I use more than anybody, which is Benjamin Moore. It's a kind of a top tier, high quality paint. But I was talking to them, and they were like, "Yeah, this has been a really slow year." So I really think that the economy is slowing down, but a lot of people don't want to admit it. It's like a lot of people have a lot of pride, and they don't want to admit that they're slow and the money isn't coming in. And the downside of that is that it gives people like this false illusion of what's going on. Nobody's talking about the fact that things are slow. I mean, I talk to a lot of painters, and very few of them will give up their actual situation in terms of the work that's coming in. So I know some painters that are decent busy, but the one issue that all of the different trades are having is finding labor, especially up here in the Northwest. It's really hard to find legitimate labor. People don't want to work hard anymore. I don't know, these newer generations are tough to get working. So it's been a real struggle to just get the jobs done. So that's been kind of affecting the bottom line for a lot of guys I know. But I just spent the last probably 2 months at least basically restructuring my whole business. So I changed the name of my company, I changed the LLC, the insurance, all of the licensing requirements, the advertising, all of that. And then I had to add 2 more DBAs. So I added the Idaho Prepper because that's something that I haven't actually even had on my bank account. So I added a special account for the Idaho Prepper, and then another DBA bank account for my Etsy store, which is DEFCON 1 Survival, which is where I sell all my survival supplies. So it was nice to kind of actually get that all revamped and restructured and organized. And so, yeah, it's definitely going to make my bookkeeper's job a lot easier. So that's what I've been working on. The other thing, and it kind of goes without saying, just make sure that you're stocked up on food and water. I put out a post a little while ago about those MREs they weren't even on sale. It's just the price of the MREs have come down so dramatically, and I don't know what's going on. I should probably look into it, but for some reason they're 70% cheaper than they've been in the last at least 10 years or so. So I was able to get 2 cases, A and B, of genuine MREs, US government issued MREs for $80, which is just crazy. It's like unheard of. I think the last time I got, I spent $70 on 1 case of MREs like 12 years ago. So to get 2 for 80 is it's just a crazy deal. So jump on that while you still can. I don't know how long those deals are going to be available, but it is kind of food for thought. That's another thing that you want to think about if any of these conflicts pop off. Any type of military issue, anything is going to go through the roof. You're going to be having a hard time finding any sort of, MREs, ammunition, gas masks, firearm parts. All that stuff is going to be slim picking. So, let's try to take advantage of the calm before the storm while it's here. But the last thing I'll say, and I actually mentioned this, my last video was pretty much completely centered around this, is just start putting together a long-term survival plan. So if you guys have been on the fence about starting a garden or getting into chickens or getting into any type of livestock, maybe now's the time. But I genuinely believe that kind of what's coming is going to really justify a preparedness plan that is going to be renewable. I think what the situation that we're going to be finding ourselves in very soon here is going to be, a long-term situation. It's not going away anytime soon. And I highly doubt that the government is going to step in and just hand out, COVID checks like they did last time. I think we're going to be on our own this time. So hopefully, that for those of us, who are prepping, that message isn't going to scare you. It might concern you. It might encourage you to maybe, beef up your preparedness plan. But, we're not living in fear here. We're in the solution. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what you think. I was actually going to make this video a live stream video, and I still might do a live stream video because I love my live streams. I love hearing what you guys have to say. So if I do a live stream, which I probably think I will, I might do one this weekend. We'll see. Keep an eye out for that. I'll make sure to post about it. But if you're interested in anything that you saw in today's video, make sure to leave links in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and hit that notification bell. So with that said, until the next time, stay prepared.